So today we're going to take a look at a scenario where the Security Council members of the AN and WICSO will just disappear. They're gone. Nobody knows how they're gone. They're just gone. And we're just going to assume that the economic the economic state of the world doesn't explode, and we're also assuming that the resource panic of the world does not happen. But yeah. And now let's talk about each continent respectively. Now over here in North America, California and West Mexico are happy campers. The Unitarians wouldn't really care. New York wouldn't really care. New York's fine. And Alaska is just going to be chilling. I don't think anything would happen over here in North America. Meanwhile, down here in South America, Brazil is a very happy camper because America's gone. And yeah, they're just happy. And we might see Brazil do some funky stuff soon. Meanwhile, over here in Europe, Ireland and Greece are gone. I think people would be a bit sad about Greece being gone. Especially, Bulgaria. And without Ireland, I don't think much would change at all. And also, without a Greece, we might see Rome try some funky stuff, although they are basically a new country. We may or may not see them try some funky stuff, but yeah, I don't think much would change over here in Western Europe. Russia, oh boy, they're really happy right now. Meanwhile, over here in Africa, West Africa is gone. Lots of countries aren't a big fan of that, but now these two countries now have sea access, so that's good. And yeah, we might see population booms in these countries. And over here in Northern Africa, I don't think much would happen. Down here, with South Africa gone, that's going to be a big ouchie for all the members of the Economic Alliance, since they were heavily relying on South Africa. So yeah, these countries ain't going to be doing so hot. Especially a certain country that I'm not going to mention. And also, these three guys, yeah, they might be trying some funky stuff with these two, now that South Africa's gone. Meanwhile, over here in Asia, a lot of stuff has changed. Like, now, the Lake Baikal is now connected to the ocean. How weird is that? That's so weird. But yeah, now that India is gone, it's a big ouchie for all the members of the Economic Alliance, specifically over here. And now that China is gone, someone is hungry. And now that Tibet is gone, I don't think much would change at all. And also now that China and America is gone, Korea may or may not try to reclaim their old empire. No pun intended. Who knows? But yeah, that's about it for that. Now let's get into the funky stuff. With America and Mexico gone, Brazil, understandably, is very happy. So you want to know what they're going to do? They're going to invade Rio Grande. And this was a coordinated attack with Argentina. Argentina, with Brazilian support, swiftly moves over here, and they capture the capital of Rio Grande quickly. And the Brazilian forces are smashing the Rio Grande forces up here. And in the end, the fronts are looking like this. yeah, Rio Grande, they know they're cooked. So in the end, they decide to surrender over to the outside invaders. Now let's see how they're gonna divide up Rio Grande. And in the end, the division of the Rio Grande country is gonna look like this, with Argentina getting most of it, while Brazil gets only a tiny part because they didn't want all that much. And for some reason, I keep saying Argentina. It's Argentina. Chilean, get your stuff together. So now over here, Vietnam is going to immediately, the moment that China disappears, are going to immediately declare war on South China. And they're going to make swift gains along this on the coast of South China over here, capturing all of Hainan, and they make it all the way to Hong Kong. But now South China gets their crap together, and they hold off the Vietnamese over here. But over here, it's a completely different story, as Vietnam swiftly moves forces over here, and then they stop around here because the Himalayas are a thing still. So Vietnam is going to smash a bunch of their troops over here, and they are going to form a spearhead over here to a major city. Also, by the way, I'm too lazy to get rid of all the major cities that are supposed to be sunk underwater. So ignore that, please. I'm just too lazy to do that. Yeah, as I was saying, the Vietnamese form a spearhead over to this major city, and it is successful, but there are a bunch of Southern Chinese forces. So they're gonna have to get a creative to try and circumvent this force. So Vietnam's plan is to capture this major city and cut off over here, and then going around, which is what they do, and it's successful. Well, the Southern Chinese pull out all of their forces over here, and now South China's cut off in two. And in the end, the country surrenders because this war is unwinnable. And I wonder how this peace treaty is gonna go. Well, who could have guessed? Vietnam annexes the entirety of South China, now bringing them into their territorial peak. Probably. Maybe. I'm not sure about the last fact, but who cares? Next up, Guinea and Mali are going to jointly declare war on Niger and Nigeria. And these troops are quick and fast. Now, because they declare war on these two countries have to help them out in this war because it's a military alliance. But these guys' help isn't very useful. Because like they're all they did like in the war on these two before basically was like 85% South Africa. So like they are trying to help these guys out, but their help is just not very helpful, if you know what I mean. So like when these guys are trying to help, it's like almost entirely useless. And they quickly capture the capital of Nigeria and fully kick them back over here. Mali is having less success, but it's still better than nothing. They managed to capture this major city and the capital of Niger. And since these guys don't know what to do without South Africa, they're just gonna surrender and agree to any terms that they want, which was a very unpopular or moved by them, but what can you do? What can you do? And in this peace treaty, these two countries are restored to their original governments, dictator and fascist. And these guys aren't very happy about that, but they cannot do anything. These guys came out on top, and now the West African fascist order is here. And by the way, before I recorded this video, I wrote down some notes for it, and I was originally gonna make Brazil invade Central America for control over the Panama Canal, but then I realized that won't be necessary, as you can see. So I just wanted to mention that real quick. Next up, the pink team is gonna act on their own fruition once, and they're gonna declare war on the country of Errol. Now you might be wondering, Chilean, why is the pink team invading just a country south to them? And my reasoning is that the pink team, as a democratic nation, wants to get rid of this communist nation in the south. So that's what they're doing, getting rid of the commies at the south. And over time, crossing the Aral Sea, they capture the capital of the dark purple team, and they fall quickly. And to be honest, to make this video interesting, instead of them just overthrowing the government, I'm gonna make them fully annex the purple arrow country. I mean, to give the pink team a bad rep, or hey, you shouldn't do that. And pink team is fight me. Now, for the last event of this video, yes, we're at the last event of this video, 12 minutes into the video, yes, it's because it's gonna be a very big one. The Russians are going to declare war on the Pentagon Alliance, that being just Poland and Ukraine. So let's see how that goes. So, Russian troops march on over into Poland, activating the Pentagon Alliance. But Russia had in fact anticipated this, and so they invaded the gold country at the exact same time. And now they're pushing in along the Dnieper, which I believe goes around like that. So they're gonna be forming a spearhead down here to try the little river directly into down here. Meanwhile, the front was Poland. They make a naval landing over here, and they meet up with the actual country, and the front is slowly but surely getting even better. And now Poland is gonna get their crap together, and they're going to attempt a counter-offensive into this area over here, and it goes well, and they manage to push back the Russians to Estonia over here. And now Finland, seeing that they kind of need to help out here since the Russians are steamrolling them, Finland is gonna decide to help out and not chicken out of the war. So Finnish troops start to now enter the Russian mainland, and they capture these two cities, one of them being St. Petersburg, and they cut off Estonia from the rest of the Russian mainland, and Poland manages to cut off over here the army, leaving these guys in Estonia. And you want to know what happens over here? These guys are going to actually desert, and they're gonna form the Estonian Revolution. And wrong color, these guys actually join up with the Pentagon Alliance. And yeah, that looks about that. So good for them. And now, over time, this Russian advancement slows down, and actually leads to wrong color. Actually leads to gold Ukraine pushing them back a bit, and they meet at the gates to this major city. And now Russia thinks of a plan. How can I get to the capital of Crimea, without them immediately blocking my path? All around the border are pure or hard defenses. So maybe I can go around them. And now Russia declares war on Kiev, and using the undefended spot on the border of Kiev, the Russians managed to fully capitulate the country since they were not expecting this. And with that happening, the Russians make a spearhead over here, and cut off Odessa from the rest of the country, making Odessa fall. Now this front over here is consolidating into one. Now gold Ukraine needs heavy assistance and to be able to win this. And now this country here, I like to call Kiev, they've basically just collapsed. Like, they're just a rump state now with no government. So Poland sweeps in and tries to occupy them, but there's heavy resistance there. So they now feel like that Kiev has turned on them, but you're not a big fan of that. And then something that the Russians hadn't anticipated it to happen is going to happen. Pink Team troops are going to cross the border, Pink Team, into the Russian coalition. And since Russia was not expecting this, they had kept this border fairly unguarded. And so this front line is basically a piece of cake for the Pink Team. They tried to form a spearhead to connect up with the Gold Country, and the Gold Country gets the memo. So now they are going to help out, and thus they form a spearhead over here. And finally, after a while, they meet up at this major city, and they manage to capitulate the entirety of southern Russia. And this is a big loss for the Russians. So now Russia decides to retreat all of their troops that are fighting in Poland. And so they take all of them out here. And they try to set up a defensive front over here, but that completely failed. And now Polish troops are entering into the country, and they work together with the Finnish to capture this major city. And this one now seems like a lost cause for the Russians. But they still have their in Ukraine, and there's no way that that's ever gonna fall. Oh, it just fell. And now the gold team is gonna occupy this country for now, and they are going to continue the offensive up here, and over time the Russian capital is slowly falling, and in the end the Polish capture the capital of Russia, leading them into a surrender. Well, let's take a look at this peace treaty. And in this peace treaty we see the yellow country is released, the red country is released, the orange country is released, the dark red country is released, And interestingly enough, the blue country is released. Why I released them? I don't know. Just felt like it. And they decided not to be too harsh on the lime Russian country, but now they have super surveillance to make sure the third Russian Empire does not happen again. Also, the painting got a ton of historical land, so that's good for them. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. Please leave a like and subscribe. Smash the notification bell, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye bye.